All right, so here's my Privateer 141. So over the weekend, I just sold my my YT Itzel. Great bike, climbed as good as it descended. But I like to buy technical rock garden type stuff. So that bike was kind of beating me up a little bit. So I got this bike. Again, 141 in the rear, 150 in the front. So I just made some adjustments to it. Last time you saw me, I had these fast, what was it called again? Fast flex handlebars with a 12 degree sweep back. And I can't remember the rise. I think it was 30 or 35 or something like that. Maybe even 40. Let's say 35. Also got the Industry 9 stem 31.8 because the fast flex bars only come in 31.8. And I flipped the stem around. You can see that it's in the high position. So let me try it out. I like the low position because basically when on a trail bike, I like my handlebars to be pretty much level with about where I sit, which is about right here. So this one is a little bit higher for sure. Can't remember, the thing was supposed to be the stem was supposed to be, was it 6 degrees or 6 millimeters from center? I forget. I think it's 6 millimeters. So if you flip around, that means there's a difference of 6 and 6 is 12 millimeters. So that's basically about half an inch. So half an inch rise. Feels kind of awkward. I'm not used to that. Riding in the flats, and I'm about to climb right now, so we'll see how it does. But even riding in the flats feels awkward, but I'm pretty sure it's going to ride great in the descent. Let's see. So along with my Itzel, when I sold everything that came with it that I bought for it. So along with that was like the shock pump and everything. So I dug out my old shock pump from 20 years ago, from the early 2000s, around 2000 or so, 20 plus years ago. I was using it, and I used the same numbers, and it was different. The same numbers on my 20-year-old plus pump. 20-year-old plus pump was actually the numbers were reading. They were reading high, I guess you say. For example, on my rear shock on the pump that came with the Itzel, I pumped it up to 140, but on my old pump, when I pumped it up to 140, it was actually harder. So I actually had to pump it up to I think I'm using about 130 on that pump. So it changed a little bit. And that's true with pretty much every pump I've ever used, or pump gauge. Every single pump gauge I ever used, when I use one to the next, I always find that the pressure is always off by usually like 2 or 3 psi from each other, but I've seen it as much as 5 psi. So whatever the spec, the manufacturing spec is. So let's see. So I think that's the only thing I changed. So last Sunday, the day after I sold my Itzel, I went for a ride. I was lazy and I didn't pump up my tires. I didn't check the tires, so I just went because I think on Friday I had ridden. Was it Friday or Thursday I ridden? Then Sunday I rode. I'm like, a couple days, 2 or 3 days, it shouldn't be off that much. And I was wrong. I got a pinch flat on my rear, and that was a real bitch. I fixed it. I mean, I had to walk home. I had to walk like 4 miles home in the hot sun, and I actually got sunburned. So I wasn't planning on being out for that long to walk 4 miles. So I didn't use any sunblock, so I got sunburned. Anyways, so I patched it up. Hopefully the patch works. We'll see what I find with these rope plug patches. Okay, so where's the plug at? I don't see it anymore. What the hell? Oh, here it is. So here's the plug right here. So what I find with these rope plugs, at least for mountain biking anyways, because I always use these rope plugs for cars and motorcycles. Usually when I put it in, I leave about, I don't know, I usually leave like probably about half an inch sticking out, and I've never had problems with the rope plug coming off, as long as the hole was round. If it's a slit, then that's different. Those rope plugs are not meant for those bacon strips are not meant for slits. They're meant for more like a hole, like a round hole or roundish hole. So anyway, there were, when I got this pinch flat, there were some people that had some some plugs, and I tried it, and it worked for like a short time. But what happened is because it sticks out, I didn't have anything to cut it. Descending. I'm not sure if it's from cornering or breaking or what, but it pulled out. So anyway, so I got home, put in another plug, a bigger plug, thicker diameter. I have like 4 different diameters, and I actually cut it down as close as I can without, hopefully not losing the plug towards the inside instead of outside. Instead of pulling out, it pulls in. So hopefully that holds up. The other end right here, you can see that, and you can see a little bit of liquid on the stands, no tubes, latex. So anyways, so PSI wise, I'm running I think about 25. I think 25 is good. If I go less than 25, if I go 24, it's kind of iffy, especially now that with this bike, I'm actually going downhill faster than my ITSO. So I hit things even harder. So I think 25 in the back is good. The front, I'm running about 21, and that seems to be good. Other changes I made so far is the damping. So my sag is good. I think I have, I can't remember what I measured. I think I measured 25% sag. So I'm about around 25% sag. So that's good for now. I like my suspension is a little bit plusher, I suppose. But also when I was like, if I use 20% sag, for example, I can't get the full travel. And I think if I use like 30% sag on this bike, it seems like it rides too far into the suspension, and it feels kind of different. But then at the same time, when I was playing with sag, my rebound was good, but my compression on both ends, I had it completely open, right? So I'm playing with the damping. Let's start riding instead of talking about it. Since I already talked about the plug and show you the plug, let's just start riding. So I was playing with the sag. So far for this bike, it seems like 25. It seems like 25% sag feels pretty good. It gets plush enough. At the same time, where I actually haven't even bottomed out the suspension yet. So I could still go with probably more than 25% sag. But what was I saying about the sag? But yeah, around 25, it feels good, plush enough, but also it feels supported enough, where there's enough pressure, where it's firm enough, where I feel like the suspension is not sucking up my energy compared to if I were running, say, 30% for climbing. But the interesting thing with when you climb, when you have a lot of sag, when you climb, what that does, it actually helps with giving you more traction and more grip. But the bad side to that is that it's a little bit less efficient. Whereas 20%, it's more efficient because the suspension is a little bit harder, firmer. It actually gives you less grip. So I think 25% is good for now. I'm gonna play with it in the future as I get more used to this bike, and maybe probably get faster and get in better shape. I will probably play around with it a little bit more. But for now, around 25% seems to be good. And I don't think there's gonna be much of a change anyways. Oh man, I talked too long. I lost my, I think I started to cool down. I should have just stopped and pointed out the tire pressure real quick, and that's it. So anyways, so all the time when I was playing with sag and stuff, I think I pretty much had my rebound dialed in. Rebound is usually, oh shit, pedal strike. Pedal strike. It didn't fling me off though. Lots of times pedal strikes will fling me off. Oh, my tire just went out in back there. Whew. Whew. So my rebound was pretty good, and I think my sag is pretty good. So I have just left my compression open. So this fork, this Pike, I think it's a Pike, yeah, Pike Ultimate fork has low speed and high speed compression, whereas the shock, the X, what is it called? Float X or no, X2 or I'm pretty sure what the name of the shock is. It's called a X something. It's not the top one, it's the second to the top one. With the reservoir, piggyback. Anyways, that one has a slow speed compression and has a switch lever, and the lever is either fully open or slow down the compression. I'm not sure if that slows down. It's supposed to slow down slow speed is high speed, but it slows down compression for sure. But it's not a lockout. There's only two options. You know how some shock levers or some shocks with levers, they give you fully open, firm it up, you know, slow down a lot, and completely and pretty much locked out. So this one doesn't have the lockout, and which is I actually like that. I never use lockout. Lockout's like I hate using lockout. It's not very efficient. The good thing about lockout is that it keeps your geometry, so it helps with that part of climbing. And if you have an inefficient suspension design with your pedal bob, I can see lockout kind of helping with that, but I still don't think so. The downside with lockout is that you lose traction. You lose a lot of traction, a lot of grip. So I actually prefer leaving it fully open. And if it has the one where that just firms it up only and not lock it out for like a fire road, I would probably use that. But otherwise, technical climbing, like this stuff I just coming up, all this stuff here. Ooh, I made it up without stopping. Well, I made it up without putting my foot down. All that stuff right there, technical climbing like that, man, lockout would not work. You would just spin out and you just lose traction, lose grip. So in technical climbing, I leave the lockout lever fully open, and I don't even use the partial slow down, because even that will cause it to lose grip and traction. Whew. Okay, gate's closed, so that's good. Lots of times people leave this gate open because they actually graze cattle out here. Was it last week I was here? I saw cattle out here. So because you know you have many acres of open. Oh shit! God damn it! Another pedal strike. I knew that was gonna happen too. I didn't have momentum. If I had momentum, I could have cleared it. Okay. So yeah, I'm not a fan of lockout at all. So I never use lockout. That's one of those features that's wasted on me. It's a waste for me. I'd rather not have that and put that money somewhere else. And actually, I would prefer if shock companies don't even do that anymore. They should, nowadays, suspension design is so good that realistically, you don't need a freaking lockout. All you need is where the lever is fully open, or just a quick firm up tighten up the damping, slow down the damping a little bit for like a steep fire road or something like that. But on technical, forget it. Any of that stuff sucks. Just leave it completely open. It works so much better. It's actually better, instead of using that lever, it's actually better to have a low speed compression. That works way better. So that leads me to, pedal strike. But I still have momentum. I cleared it. Oh shit, god damn it. Lost momentum right there. Leads to slow speed compression. Slow compression, speed compression is so much better than those levers. So this past week, Sunday actually, that's Sunday where I had my piss hat the same day. I started to, oh damn it, I just lost momentum there. Oh, lost momentum, lost balance. Oh, I'm not feeling good today either. I feel damn tired now. I just had 3 long days of work in a row. I'm just feeling exhausted. Whew. Feeling exhausted and it's hot today too. We're at the beginning of a heat. West, we're at the beginning of a heat wave. It's gonna get hotter the next 2 days. So low speed compression is way better. So I started playing with my low speed. Shit, no momentum. See that rock right there? The rock straight up stopped my front wheel right there. Because my back wheel was also hung up on the rock. So when both wheels get hung up in the rock and you're going really slow, it will knock you off. Make you completely lose momentum. So I started playing with the low speed compression, and boy, it makes a big difference. I noticed it in climbing. It actually climbs better. It feels more supportive. For example, when you're pedaling, it feels more supportive. Potentially that could be like maybe less pedal bob. Oh shit. Especially if you have a very active suspension like a horse link. A horse link tends to have pretty active suspension. Oh my god, I'm doing horrible today. Oh, I climbed way better on Sunday than I did today. So, low speed will help with pedal bob and such things like that, and active suspension, like horse link. But it also gives a little, it's more supportive as the suspension is compressing from because you're going slow right now like this, going over these rocks. It doesn't just sink into the suspension so easily. So that actually also prevents or reduces, I shouldn't say prevent, say reduce pedal strike, because you're not sinking down as deep into the suspension, into your travel, right? So I noticed that. Whoa, shit, god dang it, spun out. Wonder if you guys heard that or not. So besides pedal bob and sinking down suspension and giving you more support from that end, I noticed that it definitely, with a slow speed, it definitely climbs better. It climbs better than completely having that low speed open. So this bike has low speed on the front and rear. So I'm not sure where to start. So I just set both of them at the middle adjustment. At the middle adjustment and that was good. So I think that's good enough. It's better than before. So I'm not sure if I needed to go more low speed or less low speed. But I'm gonna leave it like this for the next few weeks. So I get more used to it, get a better feel for it before I make any more adjustments. And how I'm gonna make the adjustment is, so I'm at the halfway mark, right? So what I'm gonna do is, when I make my adjustment, I'm gonna do two different adjustments, or try 2 different adjustments. One is to go to a quarter quarter from fully closed. Let's say from fully closed. Let's refer everything from fully closed. So from fully closed, go a quarter open from there, quarter of the adjustment amount versus half, what I have right now. So I'm gonna try that. Then I'm gonna try 3/4 from fully closed and see which one feels better. Which one feels better would tell me where to go from the halfway point. So from the halfway point, let's say the quarter adjustment from full close to quarter open, that feels better than 3/4 open. That means from my halfway open, I will adjust it towards the closing side, and I will adjust it until it feels best, and maybe back off one click and see between the two, then adjusting those between those two accordingly. So that's how you do it. So it takes some time. You have to give it some time, some miles, do stuff like what I'm doing right now. Technical climbing, technical descents, rocky, chunky. So it gives you a better idea. Because if you're riding, man, I'm way winded today. If you're riding something that's very smooth and flat, you can't tell. It all feels the same. You won't know until you get the suspension working, really working it. Then you can tell. So yeah, so I'm gonna give my suspension a few weeks before I make another adjustment. But as is right now, with the halfway, man, it feels really good. Both the front and the rear feels better than fully open on the slow rebound. Oh, it's not slow rebound, slow compression. So it climbs better, and the surprising thing is that it also descends better too. It goes downhill better. I was really surprised. I didn't expect that. I knew it was gonna climb better, but I didn't know that having the slow rebound, or excuse me, slow compression all the way open, I thought it would descend better, but having it halfway open actually descends better. The slow speed compression. So that completely threw me off. I was very surprised. And I actually felt it wasn't just faster. It definitely felt faster, and I was going faster, but it was actually smoother. Like, went through all these rocks here, smoother. I was like, whoa. So I think what's happening is when the slow speed compression was fully open, and instead of the damping slowing some of these bumps down, it didn't slow them down, so the compression just compressed really quickly, and it compressed more into the travel. Whereas with the damping, you slowed it down just a little bit, where it didn't go as deep into the travel, so it was ready for the next bump. So there's that much more travel left over, versus if it went too far into the travel and it's rebounding back, but because it went so far and the next bump comes around, you hadn't fully extended, and you're like, wait a minute, shouldn't that be a rebound adjustment and not compression? Sort of, yes. But the thing with the rebound is you want it to be fast enough where it rebounds back out, but not so fast where it feels like it kicks you back. That's this kickback. That's actually worse. Or if you have too much rebound, it stays too deep in the stroke, and it doesn't rebound fast enough. And when it stays too deep in the stroke, it hits another bump, and you only have so much travel left. And that's what they call packing. The suspension packs in. Is it pack in or pack up? Or that's the same thing. So it packs. So that makes it bumpy as well. So my rebound's good. I think it's fine because I did play around with it. I think the rebound I have right now is good for what I'm doing. Now maybe if I would like to just do like a bike park, and just all you do is just going downhill, and I would do some different adjustment. But the setting I have is for climbing and descending. It's for trail riding. I think it's perfect for that right now on the rebound. It feels smooth. It doesn't feel bumpy. It doesn't feel like it's packing in or anything. But that slow speed compression definitely helped. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play with the high speed compression or not. And also, the slow speed compression usually works in like a top half, the first half of the stroke of the suspension. Whereas the second half of the stroke, it's the high speed. And obviously, there's some overlap there between the two. Very strange. I'm having problems with my camera. I keep on turning off. I'm not sure if it's just overheating or what. Today is hot. But it's not that hot right now. It's only in the 80s. So it shouldn't be too hot. So that's the second time the camera turned off. Again. Kind of weird. Oh. So yeah, so far I'm digging this bike. It rides really well. It climbs really well, surprisingly well. It doesn't climb quite as good as the Itzo, but pretty damn close. Especially now that I have my suspension set up a little better. You know, the Itzo I had for, let's see, I ordered it in February. I got it at the end of March, so I rode it for April, May, June, July. So I rode it for 4 months. I just sold it. This bike, I'm on my first month. I'm at the end of my first month basically of having it. So I need a few more months to get the suspension dialed in. Some more rides, just to see how it feels. But as is right now, it's doing pretty well. One thing I noticed with this bike was the Itzo. The length. This is a long bike. The reach is longer. The chainstay is longer. So when I'm going down technical, like that climb I just went up, all those rocks I just went up. When I'm going down that, there's some big rocks that I steer around, but the chainstay is so long, and also I guess the head tube angle is pretty stacked too. This compared to my Itzo. And when I had my Itzo, I had it on the high setting, the steeper setting, steeper head angle. So going around those big rocks real quick, which was fine for the front wheel, but because of the short wheelbase or the long wheelbase, and probably also a little bit of the head angle as well. The back doesn't fully clear me going around. I have to kind of like, so it kind of hits the back a little bit more compared to this. So I'm able to clear the front and most of the back, or more of the back, I should say, compared to this bike. So I noticed that. And as far as switchbacks, I actually didn't notice that much of a difference. It's like so minimal that it could be just a difference of being more tired or less tired. And so far so good. Not feel energetic today at all. Exhausted. 3 days of work, 3 long days of work in a row. I'm just burning up right now. I feel burned out. I was thinking of riding tomorrow. I was like, nah, because I want to make my riding days on Thursday and Sundays, so that way I have Friday and Saturday to rest. Then during the week when I'm working, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to rest. So when you're working, it takes some energy out of you, right? So you need a little extra days of rest. But it's the weekend, you don't do much, so you rest. The time of rest is a little less, but you're actually getting more rest. So 2 days a week is good. When I was more free and more time, I was riding. Some weeks I was riding 3 days a week. That was tough. I felt like I never, when I did that, I basically rode something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or somewhere in between those days. And I have 2 days instead of 1 day. You can get 1 day of rest. Man, I could feel it. It was exhausting. Yeah, so definitely climbs better now with the current suspension setup than it was prior to this adjustment, this most recent adjustment I did. Okay, we're on pinch flat. This time I actually bought my flat repair kit. The last, because all summer long I didn't bring my flat repair kit at all. Only like the first month I rode, I had my flat repair kit. After that I was like, oh fuck it. But this last one, when I had to walk 4 miles, I was like, oh fuck that. I'm gonna carry my flat repair kit. And I don't have much space on this bike, so I carry it on a hip pack. It works surprisingly well. It doesn't really, for climbing, it doesn't bother me at all. For descending, it does bounce around a little bit. This is the one I use, Osprey Savu 5. So I have my a little pump I got from 20 plus years ago, my Topeak. This thing has a Schrader on one end, Presto on the other, and also inside it has a CO2 as well. I have my muck off plugs, rope plugs, bacon strips, and I also have a little park tool patch kit and the plug tool. I have a Topeak ratcheting, the little mini ratchet. This was also from like 20 years ago, I think, something like that. What do I have in here? That. So that's all I have in there. Oh, and oh shit. The other thing I have in this bag. Damn it. It's kind of hard to do anything with gloves on. What's going on? It's so hard to squeeze this. Back here. There it goes. So on the back pocket here, right here, I have an extra tube. These pockets got nothing. This right here, right here, these two right here, you could use for like a little water bottle. I don't plan on doing that unless I go for like a really long ride. So far my ride's only been like 10 miles. So I don't need any more water than I have. I'm usually okay with the water I have. So yeah, so around my hip, and I take my shirt and I pull my shirt up over it. Otherwise it pulls on my, the belt pulls on my shirt, right? Okay, so let's go downhill now, and let's see. Hopefully I don't pitch. So I mentioned with that slow speed compression, it also helps helps me descend as well. Actually, I notice when I go over these bumps, it's smoother. And also with that slow speed compression, it helps with your braking too. Because when you're compression, the slow speed is completely open, and you hit the brakes hard, it might nosedive a little bit, right? It nosedives a little bit, so it takes up, so you lose travel from that. So if you're braking over bumps, you're losing travel from the nosediving, and the bumps taking up travel. So now you're using up more travel, and you're and it's actually, the ride is actually bumpier, but the slow speed prevents or reduces nosedive. The slow speed reduces nosedive, so your suspension has more travel available. Somewhere around here was where I last had a pinch flat. I was just flying through here. Now I suddenly got a pinch flat. I was able to ride like another, I don't know, 100 yards, 200 yards before I had to stop. We lost too much pressure. It sealed up, but it was just so low that it couldn't do rocky, this rocky stuff. So there were smoother lines, but I don't usually like to take the smoother line because I actually enjoy going through the rocky technical section, except for when it's like a really big rock where it would like cause your front end to kind of buckle a little bit, kind of jack back a little bit. That's when those are the big rocks that I avoid. But like a 4-inch tall rock, I hit it. But if it gets to like 6 inch, I'm like, nah, no, it's a little bit too much, and it buckles you. Especially when you're going fast, you hit that, man, you could crash. I don't need to get hurt. I'm not 20 years old anymore, where I took way more risks than I took way more risks when I was younger. I used to do a lot of risky things. And when I was younger, I I was into mountaineering. So a little bit of that, not too much, not too serious. Like I got into it a little bit, and one day I was at home. When I was in college, I was at home getting my mountaineering gear together, my ropes and everything. My dad saw my climbing ropes and stuff, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "What the hell is that shit? That's so dangerous." And he like gave me a lecture on doing dangerous shit. That was the few times that my folks disapproved of my dangerous activities. That and when also around the same time, I got into riding motorcycles. That was the other thing. They were kind of freaked out, but I think they were more freaked out by the climbing, the rock climbing. So that was kind of funny. Okay, I need to concentrate. I'm talking, not concentrating. I'm not looking up. I'm actually looking down. So I wasn't going as fast as I could have went. Ooh. So the stem, the rising, having the stem in the high position, riding down, it felt easier. For sure, it felt easier. But climbing, it kind of sucked. So I'm not sure. I actually might put it back in the down position, so it climbs a little better. this up position right now, climbing this actually felt pretty good, pretty decent. This didn't feel off at all. Or descending, I should say. But climbing, it felt a little bit high. I had to like bend at my hips more and get, you know, get my body a little bit lower. So you can weigh down the front end. Otherwise, when the handlebar is too high and you're climbing, the front end gets too light, and it causes the bike to wander. Throws off the climbing. It makes it a little bit harder to climb. But descending, on the other hand, feels better. Is it that much better? I'm not sure. It feels a little bit more secure, I think. I think it feels a little bit more like I'm less pitched over. So I might just leave it at this. Just because it's a little bit safer going down like this. So as far as going up, you know, it's not that dangerous going up as compared to going down, right? So probably have a little safer downhill than uphill. So that way, less likely to mess yourself up. Whew. Actually, I feel a little better. Now it's cooler. Sun's going down, it's cooler. Actually, I feel much better now than I was when I was climbing up this, when it was still kind of hot. Oh, I feel much better. The temperature seemed like it dropped like at least 10 degrees. Wasn't going down very fast. At least it didn't feel fast compared to Sunday. But it was very smooth, very controlled. You know, my handlebar's higher. Because Privateer intended the bikes to be, you know, race bike for Privateer racers. So it's a little bit more race focused. So when you're racing, for you to have faster times, you don't necessarily want to be in the air. Usually when you do jumps, usually, not always, but usually that actually slows you down, and it costs you time. So part of Privateer's design in the suspension is that it stays planted on the ground. So this Privateer is not, it's not as poppy of a bike compared to, say, like, for example, my Itzo. My Itzo was more poppy, and I wouldn't even say that Itzo was a poppy bike, but it's more poppy than this bike is. But ever since since on Sunday I increased the compression, the slow speed compression, I can actually feel it slightly more poppy. I could load up the suspension a little bit more, and it doesn't eat up, it doesn't suck up that energy. The suspension doesn't just suck that up and absorb that, because it's a little bit slower to compress. It doesn't compress as easily, so I'm able to load up the suspension a little bit and make it pop off a little bit better. But still, it's not necessarily a very poppy bike, so don't expect that. Oh, that was weird. Camera died again. This is the third time. Well, it didn't die, but it just stopped recording. Very odd. In a very short time too. So I think, maybe it's been half an hour. So it seems like this camera, depends on the setting that I use. Depending on the setting I'm using, it seems like it only runs for like half an hour and it stops recording. I wonder if that's the format, the fat format. What is it? fat 16 or fat 32 or whatever it is, I forget. That format only records for so long before it stops itself. So alright. So I think I have time for the switchbacks over here. I actually feel a little bit more energetic right now than earlier. I think it was just earlier because I was just freaking hot. I was like overheated. You know, I'm not I just don't do well in heat. I think because I'm skinny. That's the thing with skinny people. We have no insulation, not just from cold, but also from heat. So if you have more body fat, surprisingly, you're able to stay a little cooler from, you know, from heat. So yeah, I don't function well at all when it's hot. When it gets to like 90 and up, man, forget it. I need to just sit back and relax, stay cool. And now it's not. Now it feels like it's 80 degrees now, maybe even less. Right here in the shade, it feels like the air doesn't feel warm at all. Usually, you know, for sure, when you're 90 degrees or more, the air feels warm. At about 80 degrees, the air feels just about right. And around 70 degrees, the air has a slight coolness to it, right? So right now here, it feels like it's about 80 or so. And with a little bit of wind, it feels a little cooler than that. Whew. The Itzo definitely climb better so far with this bike. As I get to the top here, I'm like, oh my god, every time, even the days I feel strong, I still get kind of beat up. But with the Itzo, on the days I feel strong, I get to this spot right here, climb up, I'm like, oh, it wasn't so bad. Whew. Oh shit. How do I know when I feel bad climbing up? It's coming down this spot. Coming down here, just the spot I just came down, I don't quite have myself together. I'm still winded, not necessarily, didn't have any focus, just out of breath, you know? I have almost no breath to get up this next climb right here. Whereas on days I feel strong, when I get to the top and I go down, I'm like, oh, still feel okay. I still feel okay climbing up this. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen very often. It seems like it only happens like once every maybe 2 weeks where I feel strong on that. And usually what I notice is that that's how much rest I get, how hydrated I am, and how well I eat. So I'm not great at, I'm not the best at keeping myself hydrated like most folks. As far as rest, I try to. That's why I give 2 or 3 days in between rides. But the thing I'm really bad at is nutrition. I've never been good with taking care of myself, nutritionally speaking. Eat too much junk food or too much processed food, which is junk food. Don't eat enough fruit and vegetables. So yeah, I think that's the thing that messes me up the most actually, besides being dehydrated, is nutrition. On days or the days before, a couple days before, if I eat well, nutritionally speaking, taking a lot of protein, I ride really good after that. I feel really strong. Also, after ride, after you do a ride, don't just not eat, because you need to replenish, especially protein. You know, get some meat in you, and it's all good. Oh, it feels much cooler now. The sun's going down. And usually when I feel better, stronger, I'm not on the lowest gear either. Right now, I'm on the 52 tooth? SRAM has 52, Shimano has a 51, and the NX SRAM has a 50. When I'm feeling strong, I can actually go up this on the 42, the next gear, the next collar gear. But right now, I'm on the 52, and I'm being winded, feeling exhausted. Actually, with this bike, I can't go up a lot of this with the 50 or 42. I still have to use the lowest gear, which is the next size up, 42 to 52. But when I'm feeling good on the 52, it feels very easy. Whereas right now, I'm feeling weak and out of it. 52 feels exhausting. Whew. So before I bought this bike, I thought about getting an e-mountain bike. I was like, man, that's like a cop-out. I ain't that old yet. I'm still thinking about it because I want to ride longer. So far my rides have only been like, basically 10 miles on my long rides. You start riding longer to get more endurance, to build up more endurance. But I'd like to be, ideally, just had a pedal strike. Ideally, I'd like to be able to ride for like 30 miles or more. I've only been able to do 30 miles on a mountain bike when I was actually in mountain biking shape in my 20s, in really good shape. If I wasn't in really good shape, 15, 20 was tops. And that was it back then. That's the other thing about being skinny, is that you don't have that much reserve. And once you use up your energy that's in your muscles, you don't have that much fat, so it doesn't draw that fat reserve very well. But some people that have a little bit more body fat, they have a little bit more fat reserve to draw to, and the body is more willing to draw that fat content. Whereas when you're skinny like me, at least my scale, I have a fat monitoring scale, and it shows my body fat is 13%. When you're at 13% or a low percentage, it doesn't draw. The body doesn't want to draw that fat very much. It's trying to save that. But if you're like 20+%, it's more willing to draw that fat, draw on the fat reserve. Yeah, so you're going to the switchback. It feels about the same as my Itzo. Not much of a difference. So, and the Itzo is definitely steeper head angle and longer swing arm. Or excuse me, shorter swing arm. This one has a longer swing arm and longer wheelbase, but it's still using switchbacks just about the same, as far as I can tell. Yeah, it just popped out that rock right there with the slow speed rebound. I was able to pop that easier when I had the slow speed rebound completely open. Man, I had a very hard time popping the bike off. It would just suck up my my energy. Okay, camera just turned off again for the 4th time. I wonder if it's just hot because today's a hot day. Also, I'm actually using a different lens. I got this 4K boost lens. The previous lens I was using was the 1-inch lens. So I'm using the Insta360. And before I had it the Insta360R. So I got this RS with the boost lens. And I don't know, I think the boost lens, because it has, I mean, I'm leaving it at 1080p, so it shouldn't work as hard as leaving it at 4K, but it seems like it's turning off more often compared to the 1-inch lens. But this RS is supposed to be more efficient, or actually, I don't know about that. I know it's supposed to be more powerful. I'm not sure if it's more efficient, if it runs cooler or not than the R. Why didn't I get a GoPro? I don't know. I just like the idea of the modular design that the Insta360 has with the different lenses and such. So that's why I got it. Especially that 1-inch lens. And it takes better image quality. And it had a bigger image sensor too. Both bigger lens and image and sensor gives you better quality, more light. So maybe we need to change the sharpness. That's the thing about this camera, is that it has a sharpness adjustment. I had it at extra sharp. I think that was too much. I use it at sharp. I think that's still too much. Right now I think I have it at medium. I might go to low setting. So less strain on the camera, so it gets less heat. Oh my god, barely made it up that. Oh, my thighs. Oh, my thighs is dying. My thighs, heart and lungs, and my energy level, all three feels bad. Sometimes all three feels good. Let me take a quick breather. Sometimes all three feels good. Sometimes one of them or two of them feels good. So when all three feels good, my energy level, my heart and lungs, cardio, basically, my energy level and my legs, all three feels good, man. I ride pretty strong. But today, my energy level's low, my cardio's it's not feeling good either, and my legs were feeling weak too. I think that has to do with a lot of that has to do with nutrition. My main weakness. See, something like this, it's not very steep, but it is technical and it is rocky. So as far as like lowering my seat goes, I only lowered about 1 inch. See, I was able to pop up that rock right there. That one, because of that low speed setting, the slow speed rebound, or the compression setting. When I had it fully open, it was very difficult to pop off. When I tried to pop off, it didn't pop off much, you know. I feel the suspension just sucking up the, taking up the travel, you know, instead of popping me off. It just takes up the travel. Suspension just sucks it up. Oh man, I did not feel good coming down that. I felt exhausted. Whew. Oh shit. Almost fell over there. Whew. Almost fell over there. Both my foot came off. Okay. Focus. A little bit too much front brake right there. Front wheel almost hung up. You have to be careful when you use front brakes. Don't let it get hung up. It's too much. It's gonna get hung up and you're gonna go down. Now let's go over around the switchbacks very slow because I don't want to skid my tires at all. I don't want to cause more erosion than it already has. Switchbacks always have more erosion because people skid their tires. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. That's the start. Alright, that's it for the ride. Now I just need to ride back home. Another 2.5 miles or so. So I almost ran over this little fella right here. So we have to transfer that out here. I haven't seen one in like a couple years. And just a few minutes ago when I was on the road, I actually almost ran over a rattlesnake. So I see that more often. But anyways, so a sneak peek of the wildlife we have out here. Now that it knows that I'm here, it's not moving anymore. Alright, see you guys next time. Alright, so I mentioned on my rides, where I ride, there's cows, so here they are, cows grazing. You know, this was 3, 6, 7, 8 of them I see. So yeah, so that's the reason why, you know, they have those gates. You're supposed to leave those gates closed so the cows don't escape. Otherwise they escape onto the road, and that's just a big headache, you know. Headache for the cows, headaches for the people driving around, headaches for the farmer, whoever, you know, has the cows.